Hey artsy friends, welcome to my third composition notebook art journal series. This is a blacklight art journal. So if you'd like to see how I prepared this art journal, you can click on the link down below. It just shows you how I prepped the pages. In this particular art journal, I prepared them with collage. So my page today is going to start with handprints. I don't know, it's just kind of one of those moments of epiphany. That's not even it. It wasn't an epiphany. It was a inspiration. I don't know. An idea, a thought. Like, what if I did something with my hands? So that's what I'm doing. I'm starting with just outlining in pencil, and then I'm going to go over and smush paint all over the page with my neon colors because I am trying to create pages that will glow under the black light. So I'm starting with this bright, beautiful yellow. It's always hard to balance the camera colors on the screen, so it's similar, but oh my gosh, on the screen it looks like blinding yellow. Whenever I'm working with different paint colors while they're still wet, I'm always mindful of how they're going to blend with each other. So green and yellow will not have a problem, but with the orange and the green, that might turn to yuck. So as you can see, I'm trying to avoid mixing any green. Otherwise, I could just make sure everything was dry and then it wouldn't be as big of a problem. It still might look kind of muddy, but the colors aren't going to actually mix like they would on the palette. So, and these are so thin. This neon color acrylic paint is so thin that it wouldn't cover up super well anyway. Okay, so I'm moving on to pink. So pink blends just fine with the orange and the yellow. And then I'm going to add in a little bit of color shift purple. So this is not a glow paint, but I like things that are shiny as well. And not everything on the page has to glow. So you can see that I can still see through the paint to my handprints. And I knew from working with these paints that that would be the case. Yeah, so I can just keep building up the background. And I don't know, does this look like a hot mess to you? I am often accused of having crazy hot mess backgrounds before I start adding detail. So I'm just going over with a black Posca marker over the lines that I've already traced in pencil on my hands. I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this page, so I started journaling on the outside. And here, I'll try to read it as I go along, because one method of journaling when especially if you have private thoughts, is just to write and not write in a way that necessarily you can reread it, but kind of move all around the page. So if I live to be 80 years old and I have 2,070,600 minutes left on this earth, what will I do with the time I have? What will I do with these hands? Will I use them to serve others, or will I just use them to serve myself? Will I let God use my hands? ? Okay, so that's my journaling, my thoughts about hands. And so then I'm just going to go over, kind of thicken up the lines. That's usually what I do with quotes and journaling if I want to play with the letters, and the lettering is kind of write it normal, however, and I often will vary uppercase and lowercase just to make it look interesting. And it's just an easy way to kind of like create your own font. And then I had a little bit of blank space, so I just said live the life, just kind of filled in a little extra. Now I'm taking my paintbrush and some white paint and kind of coloring in my hands. You can think of it that way. When you have a line that you're trying to fill in, I've kind of realized that I enjoy this process. It's kind of satisfying to use my brush and fill in those lines. And I'm not too worried if I slightly cross over the lines a little bit, because I can go back over with that black Posca when I'm done. So, I mean, I don't want to be like total crazy sloppy, but yeah. And if you aren't a perfectionist, then you can leave it anyway. I'm not a perfectionist, for sure. I'm not a perfectionist. But, if some little line bugs me, then I'm going to fix it. So, yeah, just filling it in. And then, of course, this white paint is just a very basic, cheap white acrylic paint. And I got a huge bottle of it, 16-ounce bottle. And it'll last me a long time. But it is not very opaque because you can see through it. You have to put probably 3 coats if you wanted it to be opaque. So I just went over it twice, and I don't mind actually that you can see a little bit of the color underneath. I kind of like that actually. Okay, and like I said, I'm just gonna go over it again on the edges so it looks like I colored it in perfectly, right? You'll never know. Oh, except you will. You'll know. But somebody who looked at my journal will be like, wow, you painted that so well, you know? Anyway, it's okay. Not that I'm trying to impress others. You know, I realize something. I have to be careful that I don't approach art journaling as just creating content for my YouTube channel. That was kind of something I kind of promised myself when I started doing this, is that I'm just going to try to really be true to myself and my style and whatever, and just do me. And then whoever enjoys it, great. If they don't, that's fine too. Just keep scrolling. But I have found that the YouTube channel helps just motivate me to keep consistent if there's other things going on in life and I haven't, sat down and had my creative time in a while. It motivates me to do that. So that's a good thing. But I also want to just not think, oh, well, what will viewers like? What kind of videos should I make that are going to get lots of views or whatever? So I don't know. That's not the primary reason that I started this channel. It's mostly just because I love to encourage people to be creative and have fun and not have a lot of pressure and just be free. And I know for me, I'm such a visual learner that it helps to watch somebody else do something. And then it's very easy for me to just go, oh, I can do that. Like just an imitation kind of thing. Like this is really simple. So this doodling is actually kind of something a little bit out of my normal comfort zone. Normally, I don't even attempt to draw things because I don't know. It's something that I need to take time to develop that skill. And because I'm impatient and lazy sometimes, I just don't feel like taking the time to really work on that. And so today most of these I flipped through like Pinterest and looked for like coloring pages or doodles and had a reference to look at. Not all of them. Some of these, I don't really need a reference to make a cloud, but like that little duck or bird, whatever it is. I just had to look at an example and follow through. So I just thought it'd be fun to it looks like my hand's like completely tattooed in doodles, which really doesn't have any deep symbolic meaning or anything. This isn't necessarily, I could have actually gone that way with hands because, when you think about it, hands are pretty special. They can be used for good or for evil. They can, I decided not to edit that out. Did you hear my husband yelling for me in the background? Our dog needed a little bath this morning and we used our kid's shower and I forgot to clean out the drain and I had to stop and go do that. So back to hands. What are all the things you can do with your hands? You can hold someone's hand, the hand of a child or someone you're in love with. You can use a hand to serve others. You can use your hand to do work, to make art. There's a lot of good uses for your hands, but there's also bad uses for hands for hitting and harming and hurting people. So yeah, that's my deep thoughts about hands right now. But this doodly thing is not super deep. It's just doodles. I got some pancakes and some cactus. I should say cacti. If it's one cactus, is it a cacti? I got a minion and some flowers, some pancakes, a paint. I don't even know what this is. This is just kind of like some kind of flower or balloons. Here's a doodle, some hearts, some little, this is supposed to be like markers or paintbrush, I think. There's my jar for my paint. That looks really goofy. What about some salt and pepper jars? I'm really just being very random. That's okay. A little smiley face. And then, as you saw on the left hand, I am filling in all of the extra negative space that I didn't draw little pictures with words. And again, I am just kind of thinking out loud, not out loud. I'm thinking of thoughts and I'm writing them, but you can't tell how I'm writing them because I'm jumping all over the place. Mushroom, a star. I couldn't decide. I'm not a pop drinker or soda drinker, but that's like a fizzy lemonade. Let's call it lemonade. Yeah, that makes me happy. And that looks like a planet, like maybe Jupiter. And yeah, I'm just filling in the spaces with letters. Oh, there's a chicken down there. I am so glad, in an avocado. I'm so glad that I have a friend who raises chickens because I still have a source for eggs, people. Yeah. I pay $4 a dozen rather than $10 or $12 a dozen right now in the store for crappier eggs. So, yay! Oh, hey, look, we're done. Okay, this is my blacklight page. I know, kind of a dork. Well, thanks for hanging out with me today. I will see you next time. Go make some art and have a blessed day.